Good morning students, I am Dr.I.Jannathul Firthouse, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, A.D.M College for Women, Autonomous Nagapattinam. Today we are going to see the topic transportation problem. In operation research, now we are going to see a transportation problem. In transportation problem, the first method, northwest corner rule. Now we are going to discuss about the topic northwest corner rule method. Okay. First of all, you have to check that there are three methods in transportation problem: northwest corner rule, least cost method, and Ogle's approximation and a transportation problem. So first of all, we have to see the northwest corner rule. Let us see one example for northwest corner rule. First of all, you have to check whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. How we can find? You have to add this 700 plus 250, 950. This is demand and supply. So this column are 250, 300, 400. We have to add. Finally, we get 950. So that's why we have to add this 200, 225, 425. 425 plus 275, 700, 400, 600, 700, 700 plus 250, 950. So the problem is balanced. So sum of the rows is equal to sum of the columns. 950 is equal to 950. First of all, we have to check whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. The problem is balanced. Okay, we will see another one example of unbalanced problem in further. Okay, now we have to check whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. In this problem, the problem is balanced northwest corner rule. Okay, so you have to, what is mean by northwest corner rule? In questions, we have to understand north. So what is the north? The first row is the north. And what is the first row is the north. And what is this west? First column is the west. So what is the problem? What is the problem? Northwest corner rule. So northwest corner means, so 11 is the northwest corner element. So you have to allocate northwest. So in this element we have to allocate 11. So 11, the row element is 250 and the column element is 200. Which one is minimum, 200 or 250? Obviously 200 is a minimum. So you have to allocate the minimum element. Okay, for step 1. So you have to allocate 200. So row element 250 and the column element is 200. So you have to allocate 200 in first element. Why? Because the first element is the northwest corner element. So now you have to subtract 250, 200. So what is the remaining? 50. So 250 minus 200, we are getting 50. So 200 vanishes. So that's why the first column completely vanish in step 1. Now move on to the step 2. So what is step 2? Remaining elements. What is the remaining elements? 13, 17, 14, 18, 14, 10, 24, 13, 10. So what is the demand? 50, 300 and 400. What is the supply? 225, 275, 250. So what is the problem? Northwest corner element. So what is the northwest corner element in step 2? Yes, the 13 is the northwest corner element. What is the row element of northwest corner element? 50. And the row column element? 225. Which one we can allocate? Yes, the minimum we have to choose. So what is the minimum? 225, 50. What is the minimum element? 50 is the minimum element. So one more step for your understanding. What is the minimum of 200 and 250? So 200 is the minimum. So what is the minimum of 50 and 225? So 50 is the minimum element. So we want to allocate 50. In which part? In which element? 13. Why? Because 13 is the northwest corner element. So we have to allocate 50. So and then another step, you obviously like the previous steps. So you have to subtract 225 minus 50. So what is getting? 175. So 50 vanishes. So obviously the first row completely vanish. So move on to the step 3. Likewise, we can do it on the problem. So what is the minimum element of 225? 50. 50 is the minimum element. So we choose the element 50 and allocate on the northwest corner element 30. So and likewise the previous steps. So you have to subtract 225 minus 50. We are getting 175. Okay, so move on to the step 3. So remaining element. What is the remaining element? Obviously 18, 14, 10, 24, 13, 10. So what is the element of demand? 300. Yes, 300 and 400. And what is the remaining element of the column wise? 175, 275, 250. Okay. So you have to check likewise the demand and supply is equal. 300 and 400. 300 plus 400, 700. 175 plus 275, 300, 450, 500, 700. So, okay. What is the northwest corner element? Yes, the 18 is the northwest corner element. Okay. What is the next? You have to check the row element is 300 and the column element is 175. Which one is the minimum? So, 175, obviously 175 is minimum. So, we have to select the minimum element. So, minimum of 175, 300. Which one is minimum? So, 175 is minimum. So, we have to allocate 175 in the corner element, northwest corner element. So, 175. So, next you have to subtract the row element 300 minus 175. What is the answer? 125 the remaining. So, 175 vanished. So, completely the first column getting vanished. So, you move on to the step 4. 14, 10, 13, 10. So, 125, 400, 275, 250. Okay. So, what is the northwest element? Which one is the northwest element? So, correct. 14 is the northwest element. So, what is the row element of 14? 125. And what is the row element, column element of 14? 275. So, which one is minimum? So, obviously 125 is minimum. So, you have to select 125 for the allocation. So, 125. Next, you have to subtract 275 minus 125. So, what is the answer? So, subtract 275 minus 125. What is the answer? 150 is the remainder. So, you have to tally 150 plus 250, 400. Column element is 400. So, we have to tally. So, completely vanish 125. So, that's why the first row completely vanishes. So, you move on to the next step, step 5. So, what is the remaining element? Only one row, 13 and 10. Okay, 13 and 10 is the remaining element. Okay, what is the 400 is the row element and 150, 250 is the column element. Okay. So obviously, what is the northwest element of this step? Yes, 13 is the northwest element of this step. So what is the row element? 400 and column element 150. So minimum element, which one is minimum? 150 comma 400, which one is minimum? 150 is minimum. So you have to allocate the minimum element 150. So 400 minus 150, so 250. So step 5 completely vanish. Step 5 10, so 250, 250, so tally. So now you have to allocate 250. Okay. So what is the initial basic feasible solution of this northwest corner rule? That is, the cell element and the allocation element you have to multiply. So initial basic feasible solution 200 into 11 plus step 2 13 into 50 plus step 3 175 into 18 plus step 4 125 into 14 plus step 5 150 into 13 plus step 6 250 into 10. What is the answer? 12,200. 12,200 is the answer of the initial basic feasible solution of the northwest corner rule is 12,200. Now we have to see another one example of this northwest corner rule or NWC method. Okay, another one example. So what we are telling in our previous problem, what I have told. So you have to check whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. So in previous problem, I have already told. What is, you have to check whether the problem. So 7 plus 12, 19, 19 plus 11, 30. So row element 10, 10, 10, 30. So the problem is balanced. The problem is balanced. So in previous problem, what I have told? Northwest corner rule. So which one, which element? Which element is the northwest element? So number 1. Why? Because the first row is the north row and the first column is the west column. So northwest column, northwest element is, one is the northwest element. Okay. So you have to select 1. So what is the row element of 1? 7. And the column element is 10. So which one is minimum? Minimum of 7, 10. Minimum is 7. Step 1. Minimum is 7. So you have to allocate 7. Next, what is the rule? You have to subtract the minimum element in maximum element. So remaining 3. And what is the next step? The 7 is vanished. So that's why the first row completely vanishes. So you move on to the step 2 for the remaining elements. Step 2. What is the remaining element? 0, 4, 2, 3, 1, 5. So 12, 11, 3, 10, 10. So what is the northwest element? Obviously 0 is the northwest element. So what is the row element? row element 12 and the column element is 3. Which one is minimum? Minimum of 3 comma 12. We know obviously 3 is the minimum. So you have to select the minimum element 3. So you have to allocate 3 in the northwest corner element. So what is the next step? You have to subtract minimum element to the maximum element. So remaining 9. So completely 3 vanishes. So that's why completely first column vanishes. So you move on to the step 3. So you move on to the step 3. What is the remaining element? 4 to 1, 5. So 9, 11, 10, 10. Okay. So you have to simultaneously check the problem is balanced. So 20, 20. So the problem is balanced. Okay. What is the northwest element? 4 is the northwest element. What is the row element? 9 is the row element and the column element is 10. Which one is minimum? So minimum of 9 comma 10. So which one is minimum? 9 is the minimum. So you have to select a 9 to allocate. So 9. So next step, you have to subtract the minimum element to the maximum element. So what is the answer? 10 minus 9, 1. So 9 is vanished. So completely the first row is vanished. Step 4. So 1, 5. So 11, 1, 10. 11, 11. The problem is balanced. Okay. So what is the northwest element? 1 is the northwest element. So what is the minimum element of 11? 1 comma 11. So 1 is the minimum element. So obviously you have to allocate which element? 1. So you have to allocate 1. Next you have to subtract 11 minus 1 maximum element to the minimum element. So 11 minus 1, 10. So step 5. So you have to vanish the first column. So 5, 10, 10. So the problem is balanced. You have to allocate 5. So what is the initial basic feasible solution? What are the rules I have told in a previous problem? How to multiply cell element to the allocated element. So initial feasible solution. 7 into 1, step 1. Step 2, plus 3 into 0, plus step 3, 4 into 9, plus step 4, 1 into 1, plus step 5, 10 into 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7, 0, 36, 4 9s are 36 plus 1 plus 50. So 7 plus 36, 43, 43 plus 1, 44, 44 plus 50, 94. The answer is 94. Okay, 7. 94. Okay. Let us see another one example. Okay. First of all, what are the rules I have told in previous problem? In given problem, you have to check whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. So first condition is whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. So you have to add the column element. There is 60, 70, 84, 88. So 88. What is the row element? So 90. So how much the lacking element is? 2. Okay. This 88 and this 90. So this need 2 element. 2. So 88, 90, the lacking element is 2. So we need 2. So first of all, you have to balance the question. So 5, 3, 6, 2, 4, 7, 9, 1, 3, 4, 7, 5. Okay. So last row is the dummy row because of the lacking element. So lacking element is 2. So you have to compensate. So you have to add 2 and give a dummy row. Okay. So 17, 37, 34, 2. And the row element is 16, 18, 31 and 25. Okay. So what are the rules we follow in the previous problems? So what is the northwest corner element? Obviously 5 is the northwest corner element. So 5. What is the row element? 17 and the column element is 16. Okay. So which one is the minimum? 16 is the minimum. So you have to allocate 60. And you have to subtract the maximum element to the minimum element. So the remaining is 1. 16 minus 17, the 1. So 16 is completely vanished. So that's why the first column completely vanished. So you move on to the step 2. Step 2, 3, 6, 2, 7, 9, 1, 4, 7, 5, 0, 0, 0. So 1, 37, 34, 2, 18, 31, 25. Simultaneously, you have to check whether the problem is balanced or unbalanced. So 18 plus 30, 49, 49 plus 20, 69, 74. So 74, 60, 67, 68, 70, 74. Okay. Okay. What is the northwest element in step 2? Northwest element is the 3. What is the minimum element? What is the row element? 1 and the column element 18. Okay. What is the row element? The row element is 1 and the column element is 18. So which one is minimum? So obviously 1 is the minimum element. So you have to allocate a 1 and you have to subtract the maximum to the minimum. So we are getting 17. So 1 is vanished, the completely first row vanishes. So you move on to the step 3. 7, 9, 1, 4, 7, 5, 0, 0. That is the dummy row. We are adding the dummy row for the compensation of 2. Okay. So 37, 34, 2, 17, 31, 25. So what is the northwest element? 7 is the northwest element. So what is the minimum element of 37 and 17? 17 is the minimum element and you have to subtract the 37 minus 17. What is the 37? 20. So we are getting 20. So 17 completely vanished. So that's why the first column completely vanished. So you move on to the step 4. 9, 1, 7, 5, 0, 0. 20, 34, 2, 31, 25. Okay. So what is the northwest element? 9 is the northwest element. What is the minimum element of 20 and 31? Minimum element is 20. So you have to allocate 20 and obviously you have to subtract the maximum element to the minimum element. We are getting 11. So 20. So that's why the first row completely vanishes. You move on to the step 4, step 5. So 7500. So 34 to 1125. So what is the minimum element? What is the northwest element? 7 is the northwest element and the minimum element is 11. So you have to allocate 11 and subtract 23. Okay, so 11. So first column completely vanishes. You move on to the next step. 50. 23 to 25. Okay. What is the northwest element? 5 is the northwest element, and which one is the minimum? 23 is the minimum of between 23 and 25. So you have to allocate 23. So you have to subtract 2, and obviously the problem is over. What is the initial basic feasible solution? You have to multiply the allocated element into the cell element. So now the answer is 574. I hope you have to understand the method of northwest corner rule in a transportation problem of operation research. Now in next video we have to discuss about the least cost method and another method, Ogle's approximation. Thank you girls. Thank you.